What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Just doing a little free agency work, trying to get a good look at some of the quarterbacks that are potentially going to be available. We know the Steelers are going to add to the room in some form or fashion, whether that be, a veteran, somebody for competition for Kenny. There are also some trade options available there. Shout out to my guy Patrick on Twitter, doing a little bit of work on JustinFields. Hit me up asking if I would make a video on him. I thought it would make a pretty good video for the channel, something that a lot of you guys have asked me about, my thoughts on Fields. I wrote a rather lengthy article on SteelersNow.com this morning about just detailing some of his strengths, weaknesses, pros and cons to, adding him to the fold. But we're going to go through like normal. We're going to do a full film room breakdown of his game against Atlanta in Week 17. Get a good look at, some of the things that he does well, some of the things that he needs to continue to work on, and everything in between per the usual. Just as usual, man, please make sure that you like the video, subscribe, drop me a comment. All that stuff is greatly appreciated on my end. Let's get to it. All right, so first things first, we got some weather going on in Chicago late in the season, January football. It's kind of nasty, so do want to apologize a little bit for the picture in this first drive. A lot of rain coming down here, but things do get better picture-wise after this first drive, so things will clear up. Just bear with me here for a second. First play of the game, coming out, taking a deep shot down the field with Fields in the pistol. We get a little post-wheel combo, one of my favorite deep shots. See this a lot in the high red zone area. Love this kind of concept right here with Justin because I think this is really what he does well, throw the ball down the field. He is an extremely gifted deep ball thrower. I tweeted out some clips yesterday on my Twitter account. Just some of the deep balls that he has the ability to make, with touch, velocity, the way he drives the football. This is really where he is at his best, when you let him throw the ball down the field, when he's decisive and just lets it rip. Really right here, just on the drop, he's locating that middle field safety. We're going to get a little rub on the outside, decisive, foot in the ground, and that's a dot. Like literally right in stride, right over the shoulder to DJ Moore, his number one receiver. Also like putting Moore in the slot here up against the safety, giving him a nice advantage. I know that's Jesse Bates, but that's the type of matchup you want. That's a perfect football on the sideline. All right, we get a bobbled snap on second down, forces us into third and very long here with Fields working out of the gun. Top of the screen, we're going to get an out route from number one, a corner from number two, and then a drive concept working into his vision at the bottom of the screen. This is something that I wish I saw a lot more of from Fields, just going through full field progressions. Really nice job working through his route options right here. I start to the left, work to the right, and find the back in the flat. We get a check down, but it ends up turning into an explosive play. And this is kind of the stuff that you want to see from Justin from a maturity standpoint, just from a development standpoint, is him being willing to not try to play hero ball, just play within the structure of the offense, and just a really nice job, going through his reads, staying in the pocket, and finding the check down when necessary. The end zone view right here does a good job kind of showing you where his eyes are starting. You see him work 1 to 2 at the top of the screen, and then you see this drive concept, the shallow and the end breaker coming into his vision. Quickly goes 1, 2, 3, peaks the end breaker, and then finds the back in the flat for an explosive play. So this is the kind of stuff that you want to see more of, just work in the pocket within the structure of the offense. Awesome play right there. All right, so we know that Fields, dangerous runner, particularly in the red zone. We'll see some of that expertise with his legs later on in the video. But right here, just a really good example of what he can do as a passer. Some of the throws that he made in this game, like I said, this is the reason that I picked this game to kind of go over for the film review, was just I thought that this was, his best game as a pro throwing the football. We're going to get a China concept right here, and on the channel I've done a video breakdown of this exact play, something that the Steelers used a lot, a couple years ago. They sometimes will still call this in the red zone, but it's just a levels concept at the top of the screen. You get 2 end breakers and then a corner route for number 3. Chicago runs this a little bit differently, right? They're actually going to run kind of swap China. So they're going to swap the number 2 and the number 3 receivers' routes. What I like about this is just gives, DJ Moore, his number 1 receiver, a nice leverage advantage in the back of the end zone. Really nice throw here from Justin, just making sure that this ball, pinpoint accuracy, puts it on the money. Excellent throw with a guy kind of bearing down, in the pocket right there. Takes a hit, delivers a really nice football. We'll see kind of a really good viewpoint of just the ball location which I thought was really good, especially given the weather elements that he's working with. One thing that I will note is Justin does have really inconsistent pocket habits in terms of, setting the depth of the pocket or just where he lands. You can see right here, he starts at the right hash, but he almost slides himself into pressure right there. Now, this is a throw to the far corner, but you can see that it kind of brings him a little bit closer into pressure right here from Calais Campbell, who's driving his left tackle back. But still, really, really impressive throw to make right there for a big-time touchdown on 3rd and 6. Again, targeting Jesse Bates. Really nice play. Another end zone angle right here for you guys to see the ball location. That's a dot. You can't throw it any better than that. Again, a really familiar concept for a lot of Steelers fans that have seen this over the years. Excellent play for a touchdown. All right, very next drive, 3rd and 7 here. Some of Fields' best throws I felt like in this game came on 3rd down. Just some really impressive reps from him at the quarterback position. Right here, we're going to get a concept that I've actually seen Arthur Smith run. We get kind of this post wheel at the top of the screen and kind of get a sail or outbreaker from the number 3 receiver. Anytime, we're going to get any type of like middle field close coverage, I always like trying to find your number 1 receiver, especially if it's man. Find your go-to guy in these big-time situations. Fields does a really nice job. DJ Moore working as the number 2 wide receiver, kind of on the wheel up the sideline. Excellent ball placement again. You want to put that ball towards the sideline. And really, I just appreciate the touch on the throw right here. He's really decisive. I couldn't really exactly tell you how, Chicago's asking him to read this thing. But I just think, seeing him get the ball out on time in the pocket, and then the touch that he puts on this throw just allows Moore to run underneath it right in the bucket. Really nice throw there for another explosive play. Again, this is really where I feel like Fields is at his best, when he is decisive in the pocket, when he's able to throw the ball down the field. This is just another example of, he's a pretty gifted deep ball thrower. You look at some of the numbers, especially last year, once they actually got him some weapons. Him and DJ Moore connected on a lot of these big-time throws, big-time plays down the field. Just love the idea of being able to get him throwing the ball vertically for explosive plays. Excellent rep. For you guys that follow me on Twitter, y'all know how much I love empty, especially if your best player is the quarterback or a mobile quarterback in particular. Just really love empty and the options that it gives for, the quarterback pre-snap. Really like this job from Fields. I think that this is one of those good and bad reps for me personally. So you're going to get a stick route from the number 2 receiver up top. You see pretty well covered up. The defensive back is driving on that outside shoulder, so he ends up pulling this thing down and then scrambling for a first down. Now, I think if you talk about room for development and things that you'd like to see moving forward, you will see Fields have a option to go over the middle of the field from the backside in the progression. So you're kind of going to get this wrap in from the backside, and he just ever so briefly peeks this thing, but he doesn't trust he just doesn't trust either the pass protection or his ability to make that throw. That's wide open at the NFL level. He can definitely make it. It's just he opts, to use his legs in more situations than not. And, I think that it's hard to complain like when you're getting first downs like this. But I think if you talk about like the next step in his progression is going to be for him to rip this ball over the middle of the field, avoid, using your legs when you really don't necessarily have to for the same amount of yards, right? So still a really nice play, but I think, if you're looking for things in terms of things you want to see him build on, that's it right there. All right, first play of the second quarter right here, we're going to get a play action bootleg. These types of things are things that I wish Chicago leaned into even more last year when I was watching Fields film. But, this is another reason I think that Fields is a really good fit for what Arthur Smith wants to do on offense, just the ability to get him on the move, get him off, the platform. I think he's a really gifted athlete, but also I think his accuracy and just ability to throw on the move is really impressive. He's a guy that doesn't get panicked when he gets out there, does a nice job pushing the ball down the field. Lots of things to like right here in terms of just being on the same page with this tight end, making sure that, the tight end's not running into trouble, but also a really nice throw from Fields, moving to his left, stops, and is able to generate a lot of RPMs on the throw. For my quarterback kind of guys that are obsessed with the position like I am, this is, from a fundamentals standpoint, this is very, very pretty right here. You see the ball fake, empty hand. He's going to look back at the linebackers, tuck the ball, kind of hide it. That's awesome stuff right there. Like that's Aaron Rodgers level fundamentals from the quarterback position. Rolls out. Now, again, I think the tight end does a really nice job on this deep over. This is a really simple, route combination that you'll see across the league. You usually get somebody in the flat, an over route, and then you'll kind of get some type of clear out down the field. Just really nice job, though, again, by the tight end. You see him looking around, looking where he needs to settle, and Fields just being calm and composed, even with guys chasing after him. rips this thing off platform, off balance. Again, this is some of the velocity stuff that you'll see with his arm too. Like, he's able to kind of rip these throws even though he's not necessarily set. But really nice job there for a first down on the move. This game was also a good indication of, what having a mobile quarterback can do for you in the red zone. This can create a lot of problems for the defense. When things get condensed down here in the tight red zone area, having a quarterback that can move with his legs, run the football efficiently is really helpful. So you get the full motion here. This is just going to be a simple quarterback draw. One of the things I like too with Fields, anytime you get this type of 6-man box, so you got 4 defensive linemen and then the 2 linebackers, when the quarterback is the ball carrier, you're going to have a +1 advantage. They have everybody blocked up here. They have 6 blockers, including the running back. That's going to give him a one-on-one shot with the safety. And more often than not, Fields is so athletic, the way that he can accelerate and get to top speed in a hurry gives him an advantage in these situations. So again, this is an example of Fields kind of making the offense go even when things aren't blocked up necessarily perfect. You see the running back kind of come through the A gap right here. He's going to fake out. They've got a little bubble screen. I'm not sure if he even has the opportunity to throw this or if it's just kind of for eye candy for the linebackers. But as the running back comes through the A gap, you'll see him get kind of knocked off by this left guard. So he's not even able to get to the linebacker on the play side. But Fields is going to just destroy this angle, not just from the linebacker, but also from the safety. And this is just an example of what being, one of the best athletes that we've ever seen at the position can do for you, even when things aren't necessarily blocked up perfectly. Somebody misses an assignment, falls down, whatever have you, in these tight red zone areas. Having a guy that can, use his legs like that and score a touchdown for you is really, really awesome. Really felt like Chicago found themselves into a lot of 3rd and long situations that weren't extremely manageable from the quarterback position. They're trying to dial up a dagger concept at the bottom of the screen here. This is 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11 on the very next drive. This is well covered up by the Falcons. They're going to be running a Tampa 2 coverage. You'll see Jesse Bates as kind of the pole runner in the middle of the field. Once this clear out drops off about 15, 18 yards, you'll see him start trying to read the quarterback's eyes and fall off to the dig. This is really simple, man. Just take the check down. It's okay to punt the football. When you get into these 3rd and long situations, don't compound it, turn the ball over, and give the opposing offense the ball already in scoring position. So have no qualms at all about this situation. You don't want to see him turn the football over by forcing some throw that's not necessarily there. All right, so 2nd down. Really like both of these next 2 plays just from a process standpoint. You'll see Fields want to work the stick concept up at the top of the screens, pretty well covered up, comes backside, hits the check down. Now, if we're going to be really picky here, we could definitely come back and hit this tight end on the spacing on the backside. Number 18, it definitely looks like he's there. Maybe Fields turns that down. Not exactly sure, but I think you would like to, if you're being picky, put that ball on his right shoulder towards the middle of the field and have him get a little bit of excess yards compared to what the running back's able to generate there, just a couple yard gain. Nothing too crazy, but again, evidence of him getting to the backside of the progression. I definitely like seeing that from a young quarterback. Again, this is some of the stuff that I wish I saw more of more consistently. Sets up 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8 right here. Going to get another kind of iteration of what I'm going to call a drive concept. You're going to get this shallow cross and the end breaker right behind it on 3rd down. Really nice job by Fields just throwing on time, making sure they get the conversion here. Nice job by DJ Moore. They keep putting him as the number 2 receiver. I always like that, especially on these type of money downs. Moore does a nice job settling, getting his body positioned to where he can get a little bit of yards after the catch. Ball comes out on time. Nice accuracy here from Justin. Working the shallow. Usually kind of the settle point for the receiver on these crossing routes, especially if you're getting some type of zone coverage, which is what this is from Atlanta. You usually want the receiver to settle down around where the left tackle or left guard are because you don't want to run into trouble. But a really nice job from Moore. You see Justin and him are on the same page. Ball out on the face mask. Again, a little bit of velocity there. Rip that ball in. Really tough grab by Moore over the middle of the field. Nice job to convert on 3rd down. One of the things I've talked about with Arthur Smith's offense, how he constructed the offense back in 2022 with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. Mariota coming out of Oregon, a guy that was really mobile, could get out of the pocket, can, implement some quarterback run game stuff. this is kind of some of the creativity that you want to see with wherever Fields lands, whether that's Pittsburgh with Arthur Smith or wherever else. You want to see them get creative in terms of using his legs. You're going to get a fake quarterback sweep here to the bottom of the screen. Really nice play, nice job to sell it. And you can see what this motion and all this movement does to the linebackers. Really felt like Fields, with all this misdirection and using his legs, getting him out of the pocket, off the platform, does a really nice job of just kind of putting these linebackers in a bind. Watch number 53 right here. He's already looking. He thinks he's getting crack blocked. And number 55, you'll see them move. So 53 is going to move to the left, and then they're just going to kind of run this deep over route with number 13. And you can see there's no shot he's going to be able to kind of roll over, and find that drag route. Now, once Fields gets out of the pocket, really nice job protecting the edge with the back. Once, he gets out of the pocket, basically it's him as a runner, and then you've got an underneath flat player, and then you've got the deep over for one defender. So this defender's really just putting a bind. Does he come up? Does he try to tackle Fields? Does he stay with the flat? Does he try to find the over? Really nice job right there. But again, just using his athleticism, using his mobility to create, easy plays in the pass. All right, next play here. Really frustrating miss here. And like I said, this was Fields' best game, I think, as a passer. But there were still some moments in this game that just really make you shake your head. And I think a lot of this really just speaks to the general inconsistency of his play throughout his time in Chicago and some of the frustrating moments and why he hasn't really put it together. Right here, they're going to get this fast motion with the tight end. This is just a basic kind of spot concept. We get a spot route from the number one receiver. They're going to get a nice rub. The linebacker's forced to work over the top, and then Fields just kind of sprays this thing to the flat. Now, I'm not really exactly sure how he's reading this. It almost looks like, to me, he's reading the receiver first and the tight end or fullback, whatever, second. But you can see some of the reasons I think that, Fields is missing this type of throw. And it's not just this game and the 6 games that I watched. There were plenty of easy spray misses that you just don't see quite often from really good quarterbacks at this type of level. So first things first, again, not a quarterback mechanic expert, but I do know a little bit. And the big thing for me with Fields is just his lower body is rarely in sync and it's rarely consistent in his drop. So right here, you'll see his back foot plant, and then just try to draw a line from his back foot to front hip and see where he's pointed to throw. All right, that's called like setting the hallway, is a term that like quarterback guys use. To me, this looks like he is setting the hallway to throw to the receiver, and at the last minute opens up and just sprays this thing outside. Now you'll see a really good angle of it right here from the end zone angle. Again, set the hallway, and then he almost opens the gate all the way to where just look how open his stance is. I mean, it's really hard to throw like this. Again, if you were just to pause this and say, all right, where is this ball going? You would think that this ball is going to the receiver and not to the flat. So he's not getting lined up to throw this ball. And almost at the last minute, it looks like he decides to throw this ball to the flat, opens the gate. And that's how you see, sprays that ended up missing, 3, 4, 5 yards on simple throws that should be easy completions for an NFL quarterback. So just some really frustrating moments from him as a passer. And I think that the lower body mechanics, just if you think of it from a biomechanics standpoint, just things are rarely consistent for Justin Fields. And I think that explains some of the accuracy issues, particularly underneath. All right, moving on to this next play. Nice bounce back right here from Fields. Nice little play action. Hit the crosser to the tight end over the middle of the field. Just an easy completion right here. Looks like they're getting some clear out routes at the bottom of the screen, just trying to work this guy, kind of get behind the linebackers. See this thing from the end zone angle. Not really sure of exactly what this route concept will be called. I find myself asking that a lot in the Chicago offense. Looks like Fields' eyes kind of start to the right and then work to the tight end right here. You can see some of this play action and misdirection really a theme throughout the game, as it was, causing these Atlanta linebackers a lot of fits in pass coverage. Nice accurate throw with a guy kind of a little bit in his face. Easy first down, explosive play. So we talked a little bit earlier about the quarterback run game, Arthur Smith, the way that he used Mariota in 2022. This is just old school zone read. Definitely something that Smith used a lot with the former Oregon quarterback in the red zone. I've already talked a little bit about the advantages of having a runner in the red zone and some of the constraints that it causes the defense. Really wanted to show this play, even though he doesn't end up scoring the touchdown right here. Just look at all the attention, the eyes that he draws in the red zone, because, just how big of a threat he is with the ball in his hand. So really nice job here blocking up front by Chicago. But look at this linebacker and the end. Both end up having to kind of peek Fields because he's such a dangerous runner. Ends up plugging the wrong hole. Really nice job from Roschon Johnson, former Texas back, getting into the end zone. But these types of things, man, especially when you get into, third and short situations, low red zone, stuff like that, I love trying to use the quarterback's mobility to try to get you some easy plays. And it has some benefits, even if it doesn't show up in the stat sheet. All right, 3rd and 3 right here. We're getting empty. This is a really frustrating one. I can't put this on the quarterback, though. Just up front, just a total disaster. Not really sure of what we're doing here from a protection standpoint. From a route concept standpoint, just looks like we got end breakers, kind of double slant or a line concept at the top of the screen. DJ Moore in the slot. This thing is going to come open. Moore is able to cross the face of the defensive back. But unfortunately, we have no time in the pocket to make this type of throw. And, some of the, in the games that I watched, Fields, the long time to throw, some of the processing, he is a slowish processor. He will hang on to the ball a little bit too much in the pocket. But there are plenty of times like this, too, where I just have absolutely no clue of what we're doing in terms of pass protection. Guys either getting beat, just blowing assignments. The quarterback is responsible for making sure everybody's, on the same page up front. But I have no idea what we're doing here because at the end of the day, the quarterback really shouldn't be hot. You know what I'm saying? Like there's 5 guys, 5 defensive linemen at the line of scrimmage right here. We've got 5 blockers, empty personnel. Now, to me, what makes the most sense is have the center slide to the right. It's just 5-0 protection. Everybody should be blocked up. Center ends up sliding to the left. So I'm not sure who we're sliding to off the screen over here, maybe the slot corner or something like that. But you see the center, eyes to the left. They end up getting a free runner in the A-gap. And, really like good pass protection rules, man. It's just you always want to protect the A and the B gaps for the quarterback, make them feel comfortable in the pocket. And when stuff like this happens, you get the quarterback and the center, the offensive line not on the same page. You end up with a free rusher right here. It's hard to play quarterback like that, man. When you're not even able to hit the back foot of your drop on 3rd down, that's just a recipe for disaster. You can see Fields right here. He's given some type of signal in terms of, him and the offensive line not on the same page. It looks like he's signaling to the right. Why are we not sliding to the right? How are we getting an open free runner right up the middle? Just really frustrating stuff, from Chicago from an execution standpoint. All right, another 3rd and long situation. This is a tough one, especially for the quarterback, because I'm not really sure where he's supposed to go with the football right here. I just think the spacing from a route concept perspective at the top of the screen really off, forces Fields off the launch point and into scramble mode on the edge of field goal range. Again, I just don't really know exactly. I don't know what to call this. I feel like I watch a good amount of NFL football. Not really sure what route concept this is, but you can see 3 receivers right there in the same general vicinity, easily able, to kind of box that up if you're the Falcons defense. Down at the bottom of the screen, DJ Moore kind of gets clamped up a little bit from A.J. Terrell. Not really any good options right here. So he ends up trying to make a play with his legs, isn't able to get the first down. Takes a little bit of a shot at the end of the play. This is definitely something that I think that, Fields needs to do a little bit better job of, just protecting himself. But at the end of the day, sliding, still taking a little bit of a hit. Definitely a frustrating one right there. All right, Fields going to open the second half with a laser on the dagger concept. Just one of the absolute best throws that I saw Fields make really in the 6-7 games or whatever that I watched. Excellent throw with anticipation over the middle of the field. This is one of the kind of schematic fits that I like. With Justin, when he's working off play action right here, even from the gun, just routinely I saw him want to push the ball down the field, and that's something that I like. If you look at the way that Arthur Smith's offense is constructed off play action, he really wants to throw the ball down the field off play action, create those explosive plays, and that's definitely something that Justin has shown the willingness to do. When the Titans offense or when the Falcons offense was really at its best with Arthur Smith, it was really that, efficient zone run game and then play action shots off of that. But just a really nice throw here from Justin. Hits the back foot, just really, really decisive. Again, set in the hallway. But watch the anticipation on this throw. You can see when his hand starts to separate, which is right here. DJ Moore's not even out of his route break right here. And this is an absolute laser down the field, down the middle to his number one target. Again, you can see this thing from the end zone angle. Just really like this play right here, and one of the best throws that I saw him make. I mean, you can't throw it any better than this. This hits him in the face mask as a handoff. Really frustrating miss right here. Missed opportunity from Chicago really across the board. I think a lot of things can be true on this play. The way this thing's read out for me is really odd. I just think of, this play is something that I see across the NFL all the time. You just get these two deep crossers in the red zone area. You're just trying to create runaways for man coverage. Get this kind of token fake to the back. Now, normally, I think if your eyes are going to start at the bottom of the screen, you're probably going to work to the flat as the number one, and then you want this, first over working into your vision. You get DJ Moore right there, and then kind of the backside over route from Tyler Scott in the back of the end zone. Now, for me, it's just kind of weird the way that Justin Fields reads this. I almost think that he's in too much of a hurry to get to the backside. Now, that being said, both of these guys are open. I mean, if you throw with touch to either one of these receivers, they're both open. You get the runaways versus man coverage. That's exactly what you want. It's a really nice play call, and then it ends up incomplete. And again, I think that you can call this a number of different things. At the end of the day, it's a missed opportunity. But what I wanted to point out, you see his eyes work to the flat right here. So naturally, in my mind, you're just working right to left. So the next read in the progression, I think, would be DJ Moore. But you see his eyes immediately go to the left side of the field. So it's almost like he's working the flat, this kind of shallow crosser to the tight end, which makes no sense to me. I just think that, that's all backwards. And then you see Tyler Scott throwing his hand up. He thinks he's open. He is open. Again, quarterback mechanics-wise, I think that he's unnecessarily fading away right here. Doesn't really transfer his weight properly, and I think that that's, he kind of gets up on his toes, fading backwards unnecessarily. Again, this is a clean pocket. This throws a little bit high, and I think that you can make the argument that the receiver needs to catch this football. Is it a perfectly thrown ball? I don't think so. I think that this throw and this play in general is made way too hard. But at the end of the day, I think most NFL receivers come down with this ball. I mean, you got to make a play there. Got to get your feet in. He doesn't really even get all that close. Just a really frustrating missed opportunity across the board right there. Another play action shot play right here. This is a concept that I call Blazer. This is something that Arthur Smith runs. It's a Shanahan type play. McVay runs it. Been running it since the Washington days. It's just a deep clear out by the number one receiver, and you're going to get this deep high cross coming across to that side of the field. Just a tough miss from a quarterback position. Again, some of these sprays, wide open receivers on throws that really just should be layups are just frustrating. And this happens 1 to 2 times a game. We saw it in this game. Like I said, this is the best game that I saw on film from him. And there's still some really frustrating misses that, plays just being left out on the field. I love the, willingness to throw the football down the field, but this type of stuff from a mechanical standpoint is the reason why, this thing is rarely consistent with Fields over the course of 4 quarters, and why you see so many peaks and valleys of his play. Again, just heel clicky, hits the back foot, heel click. Look how he's just on his toes, so narrow in his base. And then he's going to throw from this position. It's just not natural. Like his lower and upper body are just rarely in sync. And that's why, you see some of these really painful misses. To be honest with you, this isn't really all that close. I mean, he misses this thing by a couple yards. Just frustrating. Got to have those, man. Got to have them. Perfect sequence right here to really this is an accurate depiction of Fields as a player right now at this moment in time. You'll see some just horrific plays on film, and then you'll see him put the Superman cape on. And, these are the things that you can't teach, and then these are the kind of reps that I think get you drawn back in to him as a prospect, to him as a player, just hoping that you can develop him. They got a free rusher off the edge right here. He ends up making multiple guys miss, breaks some tackles, and then picks up a first down on 3rd and long. I mean, these are the things that, just from an athleticism standpoint, I mean, again, you can't teach this. This is just absolutely special, God-given ability. Love the hitch up in the pocket, 2 hands on the football. Nice job. Again, Justin Fields is a really strong player. Like his frame, very, very strong. For as athletic as he is, for as fast and explosive as he is, very strong. You'll see him break out of these tackles kind of with regularity. Again, arm tackle, stays on his feet, contact balance, make that guy miss, get upfield. Nice blocking from 12 right here. Again, can't teach that stuff. You want to see him make the easy plays and make the routine plays routinely. But there's some Superman plays on tape, too, that get you drawn back in. Another example of Chicago moving the launch point right here. Little fake toss to the running back. Roll Fields out to his right. Got a blocker to set the edge. Really nice play here. Again, anytime you can get Fields just on the move and use his athleticism, his ability to throw accurately on the run, I'm a fan of that. And I think that this is something, regardless of where he ends up, this is something that they're going to have to lean into. Nice catch on the high snap from the center, the fake. Again, you can see some of the binds that they were putting on these linebackers with all this misdirection and his mobility. Watch 53 right here. He thinks he's about to get cracked. Completely removes him from the equation right here. They kind of sneak this crosser over. See Fields drop the arm angle. It's like a Derek Jeter type sidearm throw. A little anticipation on the money. Allow him to maximize that yards after the catch. First down. They end up coming right back to it. Another bootleg right here. Play action. With the launch point. This one ends up in an incompletion. I think from the end zone angle, this one's kind of strange to me because I think DJ Moore kind of slows up a little bit. But a good look, I feel like, of the velocity that Justin's arm can generate right here. But I think this is a pretty accurate ball. Definitely one that I'd like to see Moore pull in. I think as you see him come across the screen here, it almost looks like he slows down. And then kind of oddly enough, slows down a little bit, and then he only gets one hand up right here. I think this is a pretty accurate ball. Definitely one that I'd like to see, hauled in from the receiver. Like him rolling out, getting his feet set, delivering a strike. I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty good ball from the quarterback. Chicago ends up running a quarterback sweep for really not very many yards. Forces them into 4th and 7 right here. This is a tough one for me because I think Fields can do a better job giving one of these receivers a chance right here. So really pre-snap, guy you're locating, Jesse Bates in the middle of the field. It looks like you're getting some pressure, so the ball is going to probably need to come out fairly quickly. One of the things that Atlanta did defensively, wherever DJ Moore was, like if he was isolated on one side of the field, they'd have Terrell follow him. But Bates was basically right after the snap, he was just going to his side, expecting that's where the ball was going to go. So right here, you see him following Justin Fields' eyes, getting over the top of Moore. This is pretty well covered at the bottom of the screen. But normally what you want to see quarterbacks do, at this high level, you want to see them look right to throw left. And I'll kind of show you guys an example of what I mean right here. But once he scans off this second step right here, he sees this free safety vacating the middle of the field. Really want to see him get his hips and eyes around and give one of these guys at the top of the screen a one-on-one chance. So either that's, throwing a deep ball to the top of the screen, trying to throw something to the end zone, or my favorite option would be trying to rip this seam up the middle of the field on the hash. But, he doesn't end up doing either one of those things and then ends up basically having to throw this ball away on 4th down, which is not what you want to do. If you're going to turn the ball over, at least give one of your guys a better shot right here. I would just like to see him play a little bit cleaner instead of, kind of panicking a little bit and immediately go into scramble or hero ball mode. But you can see there's definitely a void in the middle of the field for him to whip this ball in. And with his arm, he's definitely capable of making that throw. He just got to be a little more decisive instead of being a little too chaotic in the pocket. All right, 2nd and long following an offensive holding penalty. Old school shallow cross. Matt Canada's favorite offensive play call. Really nice job here by Fields. Just hitting DJ Moore on the shallow cross. Really, again, shallow cross, old school concept. They're going to get this kind of hitch route or stop in the middle of the field. Going to get DJ Moore on the shallow underneath. These runaways versus man coverage, always a preferred option on offense. Really nice ball. It's just an easy conversion, in my opinion. Again, decisive, good ball location, hits him in stride, maximize that yards after the catch. Nice little stiff arm from DJ Moore at the end to boot. So something I talk a lot about, on the channel, on my Twitter page, like process for quarterbacks. Like I try to look at the process of things more than, just simply looking at the result. This is one of those plays where I think, this is a good process but bad result. We get the incompletion. But I do think in real time, it shows Justin Fields kind of learning on the fly. And these are the types of improvements I want to see moving forward. So the fact that he was doing this late in the season, this is the second last game, I like that. So what I said earlier about, look left to throw right. So another example of them isolating DJ Moore at the top of the screen. You see the free safety immediately open his hips, try to get over top of him. Fields looks left and then comes back. This is what we wanted him to do on that fourth down play, right? We get the seam up the middle, up the hash. This is just really decisive. This is a good football. Again, I think that there were definitely times in this game where I felt like the receivers let him down. He missed some throws. They left a lot of plays on the field, even though it was a really productive day for their offense in general in a win. But I like looking left, set. I love the lower body mechanics on this throw right here. Again, everything to me when he's throwing the ball down the field, it just looks cleaner. I'm not exactly sure why it is, but it's just his comfort zone. You see him load up that back foot, all his cleats in the ground, drive this ball. I mean, this ball is on a line too. There's some real heat behind this throw, up and over. I mean, that's a tightly contested window for the receiver. But again, this is a throw that I think, if the receiver is going to mailbox this thing, throw his hand up and say that he wants the ball, I think that this is the play that the receiver has to make right here. And I'm just thinking about this from a Steelers perspective. If this is George Pickens running the ball, running down the field towards the goalpost, I don't know, man. I'm thinking he's going to catch that about 9 out of 10 times. I mean, I've watched George play for quite a while. Definitely a ball that I think, number 14 probably hauls in. But a really good throw. Unfortunately, we didn't come down with another explosive play touchdown, though. All right, next drive, another completion right here. It's a softball. But you like to see, again, the routine plays made routinely. They get a little rub at the bottom of the screen. Actually, I think Moore ends up getting jacked up a little bit here by the linebacker trying to work over the top to the back. But it actually works out really well because I think, the linebacker and Terrell both end up going to the same player. We create a runaway. Moore gets lost in the shuffle. Just a really nice completion right here. It's easy money. Easy money. Yards after the catch. Good ball here, too. In stride. Hit him while he's moving. Doesn't have to slow up or anything like that. Nice completion for a first down. Third down right here. This is just Fields doing what he does best. Using his legs. Pick up the first down on third down. Making a couple guys miss in the pocket. Now, we talked about, good process, bad result type plays. To me, this is bad process, good result. And sometimes it ends up like this, with quarterback play in the league. But I'm just looking at this thing from my perspective, man. We get 3 in breakers from the bottom of the screen. Same concept we saw earlier. DJ Moore is the number 2 receiver in the slot. Now, Moore's been cooking all day. That's his guy, right? You can see, from the end zone angle right here, that's where his eyes are as soon as he hits the back foot of his drop. I want to see this football thrown. Like, if you talk about, his development as a passer, I think that this ball needs to be thrown right there. Back foot, his hand starts to separate, and then he just pulls it back because it's almost like he doesn't want to throw into these tight windows and be decisive in the quick game area of the field. And this is just one of the kind of concerns that I have about him as a passer and his development. Quick game is oftentimes just a roller coaster with him. He has a little bit of a longer throwing motion, which I think sets things off a little bit. But just some of the indecisiveness on some of these easy throws, like quick one-step slants, I mean, he's open, man. You got to throw that ball over the middle of the field to your number 1 receiver. Now, it's good that he can make these plays with his legs. I just think he makes it harder than it really needs to be. I mean, it's awesome that he's this type of athlete, and you love it when it works. But I think that, a couple plays earlier, play that I didn't show, ended up, he scrambles, but they get an offensive holding. Those type of plays can be prevented sometimes if he just stayed a little bit more within the structure of the offense. But overall, still a good result, first down. All right, 3rd and 4 right here on the edge of the high red zone area. This is just Justin Fields trying to go for the kill right here, put the nail in the coffin, if you will. Another kind of high-low at the bottom of the screen. We get the corner, the out route, taking a shot down the field. Again, I think this is a pretty solid throw. He at least gives the receiver a chance to make a play on the football right here. Has nice leverage, throws the ball up and over. Couple one-hand attempts here from DJ Moore. I'm not a huge fan of this, but you can definitely make the argument that this is just a little bit too far, further than it needs to be. But don't mind taking the shot down the field. Decent attempt. Appreciate y'all tapping in with me on the video. Long, lengthy film room. Justin Fields. Y'all let me know. Y'all want to see the Steelers trade for Fields? Would y'all like to see, the Steelers go in a different direction for the quarterback? Stick with Kenny. Y'all let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments. My thoughts on Fields, pretty well documented. I think it depends on the price. I don't see Chicago getting as much in return for him as maybe previously reported, just because I think the lack of suitors is probably going to be important here. There's a talented quarterback class coming out. A lot of the teams that need quarterbacks are potentially in a position to get one in the draft. And I think that Chicago is going to want to move fairly quickly with Fields and get him to a different team, get some draft capital in return potentially. I think if it's, a second round pick in return for Fields, I think that, there's a potential for him to definitely pay that off. I mean, you just look at some of the skills that he possesses, the athleticism, the velocity that he can generate, the touch, the downfield stuff, things that he can do off play action, getting him out of the pocket. There's a lot to work with in terms of how you can construct an offense around him. Now, some of the questions that I have are, can he become a more refined, consistent passer? The lower body mechanics got to get cleaned up. There's some turnover stuff that I think is worth talking about as well. The fumbles, some of the interception stuff wasn't as worrisome for me, but take better care of the football. I'd like to see him just be more consistent within the structure of the offense, a little bit quicker processing, stop holding on to the ball as much. And just, trust the offense, trust the guys around you, and not feel like he always has to put the Superman cape on to make plays, for his offense. But y'all let me know, man. Appreciate y'all once again for the love and support on the channel. It's been amazing recently. Again, just a reminder, like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications. All that stuff helps the channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. I'll check y'all next time. Peace.